Welcome back, everybody. Rosemary the Hiving here with another story which angers me deep to my core. You probably should all know about ADHD and other learning disabilities, but this is my own experience with having ADHD in school. Since I was undiagnosed for most of my life, I had some trouble in school that honestly made me feel stupid, and I called myself stupid all the time. I would constantly get F's in my classes and would not know why because I tried my hardest. But of course, you can see what that was. But of course, no one wanted to diagnose me. I remember seeing this one girl who got her own accommodations in class, and I often would wonder why I didn't have any because I was struggling just as much as she was, but no one was wanting to help me. They thought I was just lazy. And that was through most of my school life, and I finally got diagnosed in high school. I unfortunately was only diagnosed when I was a sophomore, and so most of my life I had to deal with all these struggles without having a name to it. After being diagnosed, my mom let me try to get special classes, special education. So I remember being pulled back from a class, and put into a special education's classroom so they could evaluate me and see where I would be placed. So I do have a lot of things that I am allowed to do now. I'm allowed to bring stress toys. I'm allowed to bring headphones. I am allowed to chew gum in classrooms, even though a teacher did not let me take gum, which that is probably going to be another story about PTSD. And I know that doesn't make sense of why that would be in PTSD, but you'll understand when I start describing it later. Anyways, I had multiple people call me lazy and still not accept my diagnosis still, but at least people were starting to take me seriously, which I really appreciated, and I started to believe that I wasn't actually stupid. It was just because my brain worked a little differently. Speaking of learning things differently, if you know ADHD, you know that most people with ADHD have an auditory processing disorder, which means it's hard to process what someone just told you, so it's hard to understand verbal instructions and stuff like that. But I'm glad that people were starting to understand. But not all teachers know that I have that, and will assume I can do the same thing as everyone else, which is a really big problem. This last semester that I was at, this last school year, I had to do this yearly thing where we would know which classes we were going to the next time, which I really hated because I was used to schools actually giving you the classes you're going to need. You don't choose them yourselves because for some reason, when they want you to pick classes, the forms make no sense. So it's pretty much showing you a list of things that you might want to use, and then you sign a bunch of things, get someone else to sign a bunch of things. But I didn't know when it was due, and so I was working on it on the day that it was due, and it was due at the end of class, and it was lunchtime, which lunch is in half of the day, and we have shorter days. During lunch, my friends found out that I hadn't done it, because it made no sense to me, so they were helping me with most of it. But then I had to get a signature for a teacher, so during my fourth period, which is my last period, my one of my friends took me to a teacher to get a signature, because she had nothing to do, she wanted to go with me. Anyways, that teacher took her forever to be able to come out of the classroom, and then when she did come out of the classroom, she told me that she couldn't sign it unless I had something done. But it didn't make sense to me. But my friend helped me get it done. We got back to her classroom. She took forever again to get out, and then she finally signed it, but it was at the end of the day. And so my friend and I rushed over to the front office to finally get the last bit signed. When we got there, I was out of breath, but at least I was front in line. But then I was like, wait, where's the person? I don't know where she is. They're like, oh, they're in a meeting. I'm like, oh, great. And then my mom messaged me saying that she needed our car to get to work. So guess what? Then I was in a hurry. I had to make sure my mom could get to work on time, but also wait for this one person to get out of a meeting to sign this one thing. After a long time, she finally got back. And good thing I was in first in line too. And then she was slowly taking her time getting things done. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I need to get this car to my mom so she can make money. Okay. And I don't want my mom to get fired. She's like, okay. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Get it done faster, please. You're not even doing anything. You're taking your sweet time. So I started explaining to her my situation and how I didn't know what I was doing. She's like, why didn't you get it done quicker? Why didn't you have it done already? You had 2 weeks to get this done. I was like, yes, I understand that, but I didn't understand what it was asking me, and no one was helping me. So she told me to not make excuses. I kept trying to explain to her I wasn't making excuses and tried to relay everything to her and explain that my teacher also took forever and she wasn't having it. She kept telling me that I should have done it in 2 weeks and that I wasn't even trying, and that, of course, it's my fault. She told me that it was my fault up to my face. Good thing my friend was there because she was trying to talk to her while I was having an overwhelming sense of dread. I was literally having a meltdown right in front of her face, sobbing my eyes out, couldn't explain myself because she kept downplaying my situation. I'm just glad that it finished quickly and I could go home with my sister, but of course she didn't know what to do. She was upset that no one was listening to me. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching.